A lovely good afternoon to everyone. It's 10 to 1 on the 5th of September, not December. Yes, I was rather silly saying it was December. But my mind speeds ahead, so I'm not really concentrating on exactly what I'm saying. I'm more concentrating on what I'm going to say, if you understand that. So, lots of washing up there, drying, a good old breeze. It's a beautiful day. It's windy. There's a blue sky, there's white clouds. There's a lovely freshness. There's also lots of insects flying about. You just seen I think it was a mayfly flit around there. I've also got some clothes hanging up in the barn there. So it's a bit like a laundry here at the moment. The sedums, by the way, are just covered with insects. Let me just fix my glasses here so I can show you. Now, can you see the butterflies on there? So this is one of the reasons why I plant sedums, and it's very easy now to divide them up, because you literally just pull them and they come up with their roots, and then you can move them around the garden and have them growing hither and thither, because they're a wonderful, wonderful food resource for butterflies and bees. And I refer to the sedums as the last great feast of the year for these beautiful, beautiful creatures. Look at that lovely butterfly. Oh, and Jack, of course, has to disturb the scene. So this is, I think this is a little woodland, what is it called? A little woodland something or other. Woodland brown or something. Isn't that beautiful? Oh, I know. So I've noticed that the butterflies seem to have like a double, how shall I put it, like a double season. They seem to come out in force round about, see all the butterflies flying around here, round about March, April, and then they seem to go back to sleep for a while, and then they come back out then in the autumn. And so you can see these beautiful butterflies just enjoying the sun, and of course all the little insects and bees. I just seen a beautiful bee there. So the bees are having a marvellous time, enjoying feasting on the sedums. So look at that. Wonderful sight to behold. Now, I have two announcements to make. So the first announcement is, having spent these butterflies are everywhere, look at this. Having spent the past couple of months sort of trimming back and cutting back, and knowing that there's a lot to do now for the autumn and the winter, which of course, you know me, I look forward to this. I'm going to be planting more trees. I'm actually going to enable Bealtaine Cottage to become a fully fledged woodland. And to that end, I'm going to be planting trees and shrubs and woodland plants everywhere. Now, of course I'm going to keep what I've already got there, but you see the way the trees are growing and they're shading out certain things underneath. I'm going to allow that to happen. So the only control on this that I will be exerting will be just on the immediate area around the cottage. So I will be pruning some of the bigger trees here at the back to make sure the light continues to come in, and pruning some of the bigger trees directly at the front for the same reason, and of course the sides. But the rest of the land, the trees will grow tall and proud and create of their own volition a woodland. So this is a very good example of what I mean. This, which was a lawn mown, a mown path, is now a woodland path. And over here, going over this side towards the tunnel, I'm going to have the same allowance made that this will be woodland, because at some point, sooner rather than later I suspect, the plastic on the tunnel is going to go. I mean, it's 15 years old now. I don't know how long it can keep going for, but all this area, which is now quite sunlit, will be woodland. So up in here, once I sort of get in there and clear the nettles a bit, I'm going to be planting lots and lots of trees this autumn. And over here in the Lunasa garden, there's a few trees already coming up. But there's also a fair bit of bindweed coming up there. It's gone quite feral over the course of the summer. And you can see, look, I need to get and mow the grass. So I'm looking for a way forward, because I'm always doing that with Bealtaine Cottage. I'm always looking for the way forward. Where do we take this from here? This is the chop and drop path. Do you remember I was doing this about a month and a half ago? And look at all those beautiful mushrooms there. You see, the indications I'm getting from the land is that it wants to be woodland. So you have all this area here, which really needs to be planted with trees. And just let the woodland have its way. So this is what I'm looking forward to doing, actually. I'm looking forward to getting the planting done. So that's the first announcement that I wanted to make, the information I wanted to share with you. The second, those of you who visit Facebook, which is actually quite an important driver for tree planting, because I've noticed that so many of the Bealtaine Cottage subscribers on Facebook are inspired to plant trees. This is my reason for being on social media. This is my reason. I simply want to encourage people to plant trees and to form a relationship with Mother Earth, which for much of the human race has been so sadly lacking. And that's why we are where we are. So you can see this area here is very shaded. Trees are growing and there's a lovely canopy forming. So this path eventually will be a path that I won't have to mow, because this will be more like this. And this is precisely the sort of way that a woodland will develop. Now again, I'm looking down here in the shade, and look at these incredible little mushrooms. Aren't they wonderful? Always a sign of good health. So the second announcement, sorry, I was beginning to tell you, and then I veered off. I'd probably make a very dangerous skier if I ever decided to take up skiing. I'd be veering off the path. Anyway, this is a lovely woodland path here again, but I'm going to stop myself veering off now. I'm going to tell you the second piece of info. which I begun with referring to Facebook. This is day 1 of a 56-day juice fast. And I'm doing this juice fast for quite a few reasons, but the primary ones would be I'm taking the juice fast from today right up to Samhain, which is the 31st of October, which of course is the Celtic New Year. Look at all these, all these nuts. Nuts everywhere. Maybe it's a message to me. So the 31st of October is the Celtic New Year, and it's probably the most important date in my personal diary. It's also just 2 days after my birthday, so it's I'm very, very much a Samhain woman. And last year I went on a 100-day juice fast because I was very overweight, and although my energy levels were were quite good, I didn't have any problem, because if there was a problem, none of this would be manifest the way it is, As you can see, I work very hard with the land in order to get all this happening. So I've decided to do a juice fast for 56 days, which is actually, not a long juice fast, because I did 100 days last year. I have put on a bit more weight, although I'm nowhere near what I was when I started the juice fast last year. And I have put on a bit more weight because I didn't keep to my whole food plant-based diet. Now, when I say my whole food plant-based diet, I mean my fat-free, my oil-free one. The one which is recommended. There's a lot of doctors now recommend this diet, and I've got several books on this, and I've spoken a lot about this in the past. So it's about preparing for Samhain and also preparing for my birthday. I'm going to be 64 years old this year, and I want to enter the Celtic New Year in good health, in good strength, in good energy. And the reality of this is, it's much harder to be in good health and good strength and good energy when one is carrying weight that should not be carried. So it's important for me to get down to a weight where I feel I'm at my maximum energy and health. So anyway, what I've decided to do, because it's a fast and easy way to keep everyone updated, I've decided to put one post up each day on Facebook. So today's day 1, I've already put a post up. And rather than continuing to post photographs of, and this is a photograph I took of myself today, this is a photograph of my juice, this is what I'm doing, I've decided to simply keep editing that one post daily. So putting more photographs onto that post, putting more text onto that post. And so by the 31st of October, there should be 56 posts on the Facebook page, Bealtaine Cottage Goddess Gardens. And that way then there will be a record there for everyone to follow. And throughout each day I'll just keep updating that page, that particular post. And unfortunately, I will not be able to respond to comments on these posts, because you can imagine the time that would take. So last year when I did my 100-day juice fast, I put it behind like a paywall, and I'm not comfortable with doing that anymore. I prefer to have all the posts public and all the posts accessible for everyone. So you will forgive me if I don't therefore spend a lot of extra time answering comments. It's not something that I'm going to have the time to do. It's just simply a time factor, that's all. So, gosh, it's just such a beautiful day. I mean, just look at this woodland coming up here. You can just see the heights of some of the trees. Now, these are some of the trees, just literally the first line of trees around the cottage that I'm going to be not coppicing, because I won't be taking them down that low, but certainly pollarding. So bringing them down by about a third, something like that, maybe a half. That will encourage the actual tree to really bulk out. You know, the trunk of the tree to bulk out. And I'm thinking to myself as well that being this close to the cottage, I don't want trees to grow so tall that if there is a severe storm, that they fall down on the cottage. And I'm also thinking, if I keep them trimmed down to a certain height, every few years allow them to kind of romp away, you know. But the tree itself will be much hardier, will be much stronger and much more resilient to severe storms. So this is something I'll be doing now, starting as soon as the leaf fall itself begins in earnest. I mean, I've been doing a fair bit of pruning and cutting back. So for example, I mean, this is a beautiful tree here, this little sycamore, but it has grown very, very fast. And so I will be taking this back by about a third. And that way then the actual trunk of the tree will become much stronger and wider and thicker, and the roots will have a much better chance of, working their way downwards. So, yeah. So this is quite a pivotal day. It's quite a pivotal day for me in terms of making decisions about, moving forward, moving the Bealtaine Project forward, moving myself forward, preparing for the winter, because I think it was in the very darkest days of the winter that I kind of ate an awful lot more. I sort of sought out comfort food, and don't assume that because one is vegan that eating vegan food is the very healthiest food to eat. If you make it yourself and you consciously prepare food that's healthy, yes it is, but if you're continually making sweet treats and cakes like I was, then hey ho, pull yourself together, woman. So I think all in all, the decisions that I've made today about moving forward and preparing for the future and preparing for the winter and making the most of the autumn resonate very positively with me. So on that note, I'm going to go into town to upload this video. I've got a few things to do in town, and if I go to a particular cafe, they have a Wi-Fi service, so it'll be a little bit faster for me. Got more clothes hanging up here. This is Colette's laundry. Hopefully it won't, dash with rain before I get back, so I can take everything in and air it, put it into an airing situation. Now, for example, you see this beautiful little green beech here. Look, now it's waving about quite a bit in the wind. Well, I'm going to be taking that down by about at least a third, if not a half, and that way then it will not be so prone to being, shifted about in the wind. So that's the kind of general work I'm going to be up to. Anyway, I've got masses of work to do, so I best be off. So blessings to you all. Have a lovely day. Check over on the Facebook. What I will do as well is post a couple of posts up on the website. But for regular, daily, and I promise it will be daily, updates on my juice fast and what I'm doing around that, then the Facebook page is going to be the easiest way for me to get this onto social media. I will, of course, be making videos, so I'll keep you updated there as well. So blessings to you all. Gosh, I've been wittering on now for over 22 minutes. Have a lovely day, everybody. Blessings.